I'm Juliana Mary, and last year, coaching with Darcy, I doubled my income. It's the most money I've ever made in a year.
Yeah.
I mean, and I didn't, I mean, I hoped that that was going to be possible, and I hope that I know that it'll continue to grow, but it was pretty exciting to see that it actually happened.
What do you feel like it was changing up your offers, or how do you feel like the money came into you differently?
I think it was a lot of things. I think I didn't actually change up my offers that much, except that I implemented a way better strategy of pitching clients. So part of what we talked about in coaching together and what was part of, all the modules was the, I forget what you actually call it, but it's the proposals that you send out
Yeah, I
and
just
how
call
to,
proposals.
yeah, exactly. And so I had always just done my proposals in an email. I just sent them an email with, hey, they would tell me what they wanted and I would give them a price and then they would either book me or not. And so instead of doing that, I started doing investment options where I would give them a price point of exactly what they said, and then a higher price point, and then another higher price point, and giving them more and more with each tier. And I would say 75% of my clients would end up choosing the highest tier. So I
Ah,
had just
okay.
been leaving thousands and thousands of dollars on the table that I had no idea people even would go for. And the other thing I did was I doubled my rates.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah. So
How did
even
you
with
get,
offering that highest tier, it's double what I had been offering before.
so how did you get in the mindset to be able to double it? Like, did you have to pep talk yourself? Did you
Yes.
look at, okay, lots of talking in the mirror?
Yeah. So late one night, I was really thinking about my business, my future, in all ways, the type of life I wanted to build for myself, that I wanted to build for my family, the type of business I wanted to have. Um, and part of that too was what kind of value I believed I offered and that I held in the world.
Hmm.
And so it was a lot of emotional stuff. And I thought, you know what? What I offer and what I do is good. It is valuable. And I am underselling it. And I'm underselling myself. And I think we talked about this as well, that to serve people better, I needed to start serving fewer people too and be able to give them more. And to do that, I needed to charge more. So I just had to have like a late night come to terms with what it was I wanted to do and what it was I wanted to build. And then I just did it. I drafted an email and planned it out to send the next day, letting everybody know that I was going to be doubling my rates
Hmm.
and that they could book me at my current price until the end of the month. These were the new rates.
Yeah.
And so I had a ton of people go ahead and do that. And then everybody else has been at that new rate since then.
It's very powerful to realize that sometimes you just have to pull off the band-aid of
Yeah.
your own bad thoughts.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I think people think, oh, I have to do a ton to get into a place of raising your rates. And it's like, no, sometimes you just have to realize you've been underselling yourself for a very long time, like you said,
Yeah.
and it is time to just up them. And and I always like giving people a little bit of a warning so it doesn't come out of
Right.
nowhere, and like letting them know this is what's happening. And what I think happens when you do that, and you let me know if you feel the same, I feel like it actually impresses your clientele in a way of like, yeah, she's up leveling, I'm up leveling, like I know
Yeah.
she'll even provide a better service with this. And it's not, I don't know why we all are so scared of it.
I think because, well, it depends a lot on who you are, but I think especially as women, we talked a lot about this in coaching, but I think women, we want to serve people so much that we think we have to do it for cheap. We think, oh, we have to be affordable for every and we can help everybody in the world. And we undersell ourselves because of that. You know, we don't charge what we're worth. And I think we have this like very limiting idea of what it means to serve people, if that makes sense. And we think we have to be the cheapest, or we have to, you know, kill ourselves working super hard. It's just not true. It's just not true.
You know, I've thought of that too. Like even with coaching, it's like, ooh, if I raise my rates, what if I can't get these women who are just starting out in their businesses and help them? And I'm so good at helping them. Like I'm so great at helping businesses scale to $100,000. And I'm like, yes, but you're also really good at helping businesses scale to $500,000 into $1 million. And that's a less populated area because not as many creative businesses have hit that area. And it's like, when we talk about like serving that person, it's really powerful to, you know, I guess, grow into the next level of who your clients are.
Right. Yeah. And that's, I think, been the most exciting part as well for me, is that as I raised my rates, new, different and bigger budget clients have started coming my way. I think because they see me as a more serious investment. And, you know, and I noticed this as well with myself, that if I'm asking somebody for something and they give me a super low price, I automatically think, you know what, this must not be that good. And, you know, I was reaching out to another stylist saying, hey, can you, you know, would you be interested in coaching me on how you started working with bigger brands and la, la, la. And she said, oh, sure. You know, it's $25 an hour or something ridiculous. And I was like, I don't think you know what you're talking about. So I didn't hire her because, and you know, but even though she had worked with these big brands that I would like to work with, her coaching was so cheap. I thought she must not know what she's doing. So I didn't hire her.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's so funny. I think what we do when we're investing a lot of the time is we're paying for our own transformation as well. So like women and men, whomever go and work with you, because you're more, I think they will be compelled to bring more to the table, to get you better work, you know, to get you the things that you need to make your work epic, which you can describe what you do.
Sure.
What you do. We forgot.
That's okay. So I am a prop stylist and photographer. And so what that means is that product-based businesses will come to me and ask me to style their work and take beautiful photos that they can use on their Instagram, their website, Pinterest, all the places to sell their products. I primarily work right now with stationers and photographing their work and styling it. And that's how I started off. I was a stationer to begin with, and I couldn't get the photos I needed to promote my business. So I started taking my own, and then people started to come to me saying, hey, can you take photos for me too? And it grew from there. But now I work with that market, but I've also started expanding into other products as well. So I have a big beauty client coming up. Some clothing businesses have approached me. Another beauty product brand has approached me. Some sweets, you know, some like bakeries and places have started reaching out to me. So all kinds of businesses are on the horizon. So it's been a really, really fun year of seeing the change and the growth in the types of clients that are coming my way.
Yeah, just that expansion. Well, you have such a beautiful eye. And every time you post on Instagram, and you taught me a lot as a photographer about how to make sure I'm photographing my stationery right, because for the first years,
it's very nuanced.
It's hard when you're a light and airy photographer because you can blow out the writing on an envelope, especially if it's like a lighter color. So I've really had to work on that. And you're really good at making sure people's work looks really good, which in turn then helps them sell, because
exactly, you can't sell what you can't see. So it's really, really important. And when they're able to have a beautiful photo, and this applies to all products, when they have a beautiful image of their work, then when their audience sees that, they can then charge more for their work because it looks expensive. You know, if you have if you're just holding up your product against, you know, you see so many of those on Instagram where it's like a hand against a wall or whatever, you know, and you're holding the thing up and it's kind of dark and you maybe can't tell what color it is or what's so great about it. But then you're asking somebody to pay you hundreds or thousands for this thing. Well, it doesn't look like it's worth that. And so that's why styling and photography is so important, because if you can do that beautifully, it looks like it's worth that much. And so that's why it's so important.
I had this idea. I'm always thinking of ways to make money, and I ordered DoorDash like at least once a week, and there's this really amazing restaurant bakery, like so good. And they have the most beautiful, fluffy rolls and things. And the picture that they've chosen to be the picture that people decide if they want to hit on their restaurant, I don't hit on it. And then I realized the other day, I'm like, wait, that's the place I love. It's this horrible, ugly, opened meat bun with and the meat looks just sick and gross, and like you would get like food poisoning from it. And I'm like, any smart photographer, if they need money, will go on DoorDash and pitch the owners of these restaurants to come in and photograph their food looking gorgeous, because those photographs sell what you're buying.
100%.
So if you guys need any money, go to your DoorDash, look at all the horrible photos of food. It would help bring them in hundreds. I think it would bring in thousands of dollars. These are the things I think of when I'm just ordering food. I'm like, everybody needs a good photographer.
Everybody needs a good photographer. If you sell anything, a service, you need good photos. You just need them.
Best time to be a photographer in the world. Like, I know people think, oh, it's so saturated, kind of, but like there are so many scrappy ways to go out and find money and get money and provide a great service that will bring that company in tons and tons of money, which is what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Which is why you do, like, it's so smart of you to raise your rates, because they'll show up with a better product. You'll take better photos, and they'll make a lot more money in the long run.
Right. And it's definitely a great time to still become a photographer or grow your business. And it's so funny because I'm part of a million different Facebook groups because I love to see what people do behind the scenes. And so I'm part of this one product photography group, and it's primarily, and no hate to the men who do this work, but it's primarily men in this group, and they all have the exact same aesthetic. It's exactly the same. It's all dark. It's all masculine. It's all hard. And I
can see it in my head. Exactly.
It's very aggressive. And it's a look that, it's fine. But it just goes to show that there is room for different kinds of voices and different kinds of looks, and you can still definitely grow in that space for sure. And I think the same goes for what you're saying, like with food photography, and there's room for more people and more voices. Definitely.
Well, I just want to let you know how impressed I've been. Like, I remember our discovery call back in the day, and you were really wanting to like increase that income. And you were like, I want to go to Paris and I want to do this. And I just saw in you, I was like, this girl's going to make it happen. Like, I had no doubt. Like, you were just at this cusp of an expansive evolution of really stepping into your power more, and really stepping into your artistry and owning your expertise in what you do. Like, you really understanding how valuable what you offer is. And that is like the first big step to bringing in more money as a creative, I think.
Well, I think, it's so funny now, like looking back at that call, I knew before we even talked, I was going to sign up, because I trusted you, and I had read, I had listened to some of your free trainings, and I had done one of your free webinars, and I had listened to your podcast, and I was like, okay, I can get on board with this. And, I definitely, like, when I set my sights on something, like, that's it, like, that's what I'm doing. And I knew I had to make it work, because I didn't want to go back to working in an office. Absolutely. And I have 2 small children, and I wanted to be available for them and do this thing that I finally found. I'm in my middle 30s, and I finally found this thing that I love doing. And so I knew I had to figure out a way to make it work, which is where you came in. And what I thought was so crazy is the mindset work that is so fundamental to everything you teach. It's such a big part of it. That for me was the biggest transformation. And you mentioned something just now about like stepping into my power or something like that. And part of something you talk a lot about is like knowing yourself, like showing up as you, like figuring out your superpowers. And I kept feeling like, I don't know who I am. And I felt so diluted, I guess, in so many ways. I felt like I had to show up as some certain version of somebody, but it wasn't me. And I didn't know what I loved and I didn't know how to be that. And I think over the course of coaching and training with you, that was like one of the biggest transformations is feeling like I can be me and be successful. I can, I don't have to be, a minimalist. I don't have to be anything. I can just be myself, and that is more than enough. And I think that was we talked a little bit in the beginning about, well, how did you do this? How did you double your income? How did you double your rates? I think it just came from finally feeling like I could just be myself, and that was enough.
Mm-hmm. It is more than enough. I love that. And that's like the thing that I think, yeah, it's such a beautiful, valuable lesson. Like I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she's thinking of like starting to date again. She just got out of a relationship about 2 years ago. And she was like, yeah, but I have this thing and I have this. And she like started pointing out flaws. And I said, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa. Here's the only thing you have to remember. Who you are is who he will want.
Mm,
And that's kind of, and like, I remind
yeah.
myself of that all the time. It's same with my clients, like who I am is exactly the coach that they need, or they won't sign up with me.
Right.
I just know that because I'm speaking so loudly, not like volume, but I'm saying who I am again and again and again. And that's why it's so important to be a little controversial and to say the things that you really think, and, be out there with who you are and what you believe and what you support and all of that, because it's like a calling card to the people who are like, oh my gosh, please, I need more of that in my life. Let's have those kinds of discussions. Let's talk about that. Let's be there in that space. And so, yeah, who your clients are exactly who you are, exactly who they need. And it
Yeah.
kind of like attracts each other.
Yeah. And you don't have to hide it. I think we all grow up thinking that we have to kind of like, don't show your freak flags, right? Like hide away those like things, especially if you have to be on social media. Oh my God, don't show how weird you are. But those are the things that like make people interested in you and feel connected to you, because they have the same weird thing that you do. If, and I know this is like a really popular example, but if you love Bridgerton, well, then go all out, talk all about it, because the people who also love that show will connect with you about that. Or like, if you love your dog or whatever, like you post about your dog, or like lately, you started off with The Rock, but I feel like you're onto a new man. But
I know. The Rock is
that's
kind
the
of
stuff
like,
that makes you interesting and personable.
I will say I tried to rent a Regency costume when I was in England 2 years ago to do like a Bridgerton reel in Jane Austen. They just didn't have one that fit me. That was really sad. I was like, no plus size Bridgerton costumes. I have to make my own. But yeah, my business really started to change when I stopped using the excuse that I was chubby to not be in front of the camera. I was just like, I held myself back from that for so long. Like I didn't want to do a YouTube video because I was like, I look fat. And then finally my brain was like, Darcy, you are the only block to your success. Like the way you're thinking about yourself is the only block that you have. And, once I started like getting photographed, I remember getting brand shoots, and I had so many women reach out. Oh my gosh, where are you shopping? I love that you're getting in front of the camera. It's helping me feel not so self-conscious. Like that's kind of what we need, those energies of really stepping out of our own insecurities and owning who we are, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more, obviously. Like, I mean, it's just so important. And that's something too, this is a little off topic, that I love about like this upcoming generation. I feel like that they seem to really embrace like body positivity, which has impacted my body positivity in so many ways, that like being thick is like, such a good thing. And like, I'm like, oh yes. Oh,
I know,
it's wonderful.
My niece is one of my nieces is a little on the chubbier side. I'm like, do you ever get teased? She's like, no, nobody cares.
No,
like it's just junior high, like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, my junior high people were so horrible and so mean. And I got teased all the time. And now it's like, they'll almost get you if you think that anything needs to be one size fits all, like we were
For
kind
sure.
of cracked into. So it is makes me, I know a lot of people talk crap about the newer generation, but I think like,
I love them.
yeah,
I think they're amazing.
me too. I was reading today that if I'm 44, that I need to have at least one coach under 30 so I can keep
Mm.
so I can have an awareness of
Mhm.
what is going on in the world, because I can lose perspective as I get older. I was like, I got to go find a young coach. I'm going to go do that this year. I'm going to find like a 20-something-year-old to coach me. I know. It'd be awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing your success. Thank you for shining your light. Thank you for owning your worth. Thank you for doubling your rates. You're making the world a better place by doing it.
Well, thank you for everything that you do and you share with everyone, because it really makes an impact.
Thank you.